Hello, Floss Tube, Gem Stitch here, with a very belated update. There's a surprise. I think my last video was about 2 months ago, so I'm hoping to just give you a whip update, some plans for September and beyond. Nothing too in depth. I have actually got some haul, but it's probably stashed by now because I haven't updated any of you on it, so I may do another video related to that, but if not, then obviously it was just important as well as a record for me to keep on track with what's going on with my stitching at the moment. So August was a very busy month for me. It was busy work wise, it was busy family wise, so there was lots going on, and I didn't really get too much time to do much stitching. Some stuff got left behind, so I've got to catch up on certain things, managed to catch up on things that I was left behind before. So basically I'm just going to show you kind of where I am at the moment and my plans for the future as such. So first of all, really exciting news. Literally about half an hour ago I went and picked up my framed Mirabilia piece, so I'm really excited and I'm really happy with how she has turned out. So hold on a second, I'm going to have to lean over to get to it. So, glare, didn't pick it up. This is my framed Mirabilia piece. If I do that, you'll probably get glare, so I'm trying not to do that. So the pattern was called Adia. She's the garden fairy. To recap, the fabric is Mottled Sage, Opalescent by the Crafty Kitten. It was on 32 count. Pretty much didn't alter the pattern too much. I did stitch the skin 1/1. There's probably a closer view on some of my previous videos if you want to go into a bit more detail as to the beading and things like that, but obviously if I take it too close to the screen, and unfortunately I'm having to face a window, you're just going to get massive amounts of glare, so you're not going to see much anyway. But yeah, so just as a recap, the fabric, I stitched the skin 1/1, and the outline of the wings was meant to be in acrylic that I felt was too dark for my personal preference. So I stitched it in the petite treasure braid. Other than that, everything else was exactly the same. So I chose a frame, so I kept it in its plastic wrap because it's not for me. So this is actually for a friend, a dear friend of mine. So I chose a frame. When I choose frames for any cross-stitch pieces that I have had framed, I choose it to suit the piece, not necessarily aesthetically for the house or the decor or anything like that, because ultimately you could move and completely have different decor. So I think it's better to choose a frame that suits the piece. However, with a fairy and the subject matter of these, you probably could have gone quite heavy Baroque style, and I maybe would have done that, except this isn't for me, so I've tried to keep it as sort of neutral but still true to the piece as possible. So the frame that I chose has got, I don't know if I can get up close, has got woodwork, white distressed woodwork beading on the frame, but I chose it in white to keep it as neutral as possible, so that, you know, it would still suit the piece, but you could pretty much put it anywhere and it's not going to be too in your face, like with the aesthetics. So I am so pleased. They do a fantastic job, the framers. that I go to, and I love it, and they're really good, and they're really supportive in the sense that, you know, I spoke about the beads, I spoke about stretching it. It's had to have, the term they use is called fillets, so it's slightly set back into the frame because it has got some beaded droplets, which you may have seen from my previous videos, and things like that on this piece, so it did have to be set back. But no, they're excellent, and I'm really chuffed with it. So hopefully I'll be able to organise meeting up with my friend at some point next week, and I'll be able to give it to her in person. So that is Adia. The pattern is a Mirabilia pattern. It was I stitched it as part of can't speak today, as part of the Mirabilia sale for 2015, which starts on the 1st of January. It took me roughly about 6 months, but that's not continual stitching, and obviously there's work and life in between that. So it took me roughly about 6 months, and yeah, it's a Mirabilia pattern, Adia the Garden Fairy. Okay, so that's an FFO. So that will be my second, excuse me, that will be my second FFO for the year, which actually is quite poor in that sense, but there have been quite big things, as I showed before. The other big one that I had framed was the Dragon Quaker sampler, so it's mainly because a lot of the projects that I'm stitching, they're either really little and they're going to be one big piece when they're finished, or they're bigger pieces so they take longer to complete. But yeah, no, I'm really happy. It's, as long as I'm trying not to leave things languishing too long, that have been finished but not turned into something. So I think so far I've got only one finish that's not actually been turned into something, that's just sort of rolled up, sitting in my trunk, so stitchy stuff, my stitchy trunk. So yeah, on to whips, I suppose. So what have I been up to? Well, I was falling behind with the Cottage Needleworks ornaments. I get them through a company called The Patchwork Rabbit. She's an auto ship payment, so every month we're a little bit behind, obviously because of being based in the UK. They're not, they're based in America, so we're a little bit behind on the schedules of when they come out. But yeah, I just get the little pieces sent through, and my idea was to possibly turn it into a Christmas bunting. I'm pretty much sticking with that at the moment, but what I wanted to do was wait until I'd completed the whole series and then do that. So I'd fallen a bit behind, so I had to catch up in the last 2 months on some of the projects. I actually completed 3 in the last 2 months. So the first one that I completed was called Holly Jolly. So as you can see, that's on quite a stiff linen. The second one I completed, which would have been not last month, the months before. I told you I was a little bit behind. This is, I can't remember what this one's called, but it's a little Christmas, like dove coop. Really cute. I like that. That was a real pleasure to stitch, actually. Nice little cute pattern. And then this would have been the last month's pattern, which has been completed. Very merry. So yeah, I have had the next pattern for this month sent in already, but I haven't started it because I like to have an on-the-go travel project that I can take with me if I know I'm going to be spending a night or so away on holiday or anything like that, and do a bit of travelling, because a lot of, like I said, a lot of the pieces that I work on are quite big, and it's just not worth it. So to take them with me. So I like to have little pieces, and I think that that will always be the case. That I'll always try and have a little on-the-go project that I can work on. So let me just take it out of the bag so it doesn't glare too much. So I'm planning on going on a trip on Thursday. Well, I'm actually off on holiday on Thursday all the way through to not the next Monday, the Monday after. So about 10 days. So, and there will be some travelling in time there, sometime at home, but sometime travelling. So I thought, that's why I haven't started it, because I thought, oh, I can take it travelling with me. It's not important that I kind of get it done to stay on top of it. So this one's called Falala, and it's a little sheep with a Christmas tree. So I don't think you can see the pattern through that, but yeah, so you get all the, these are the 2 threads that were the top ups. I've got a little box of other threads that will need to be used that come along with it, and then that's the fabric, which is a 32 count fabric flare natural stroke silver linen. So yeah, I'm going to just take that with me on my travels and start that, see how far I get with that one. I think this is the second from last, and then there's one more ornament, and then they're all completed. So what I'll probably do, let me put it back before I lose it. What I'll probably do is, once they're completed, what would be nice as a stretch target, but I'm not putting pressure on myself, would be to, once they're all completed, turn them into bunting and hang them up in December with my Christmas tree and everything else. Let's see how that goes. If I can just get them completed, and I have to make the bunting for January ready for next Christmas, then that's just the way it is. There's enough going on at the moment at work and in my home life that, you know, I don't need to put extra pressure on myself to do with stitching. So although I like to have a little guideline plan, I try not to make it so that it's a chore. So updates on the Box of Delights. That's actually finished now. I did the whole piece, but that's actually finished now. But as discussed in my other videos, I'm using Jodyridesigns Antique Silks collection, and she hadn't released 36 colours. So I've got one of all the colours she had released so far, but Michelle Easters has started her own YouTube channel, and I asked on that channel, because she was showing all the, obviously, fabric of the month, wonderful fabrics that she does, and threads and things, and it was nice to kind of put name to her face and see what her, like when she's talking and discussing things about, you know, her fabrics and stuff. It's really nice. So, but yeah, I did ask her if she was going to be doing any more antique silks, because otherwise what I would have possibly done would be to go to redo the colours again. So do one of each and then do another one of each, or pick out whatever was left. But she did say that she was thinking of increasing and adding to the antique silks collection. So I mean, this is for me, I'm in no rush, so literally I will plot out the outlines of the chocolates as I think they are, and fill in where I've done the caramel colour, sort of for what I class as the plain chocolates, and then just wait, and then every time she releases an antique silk I will just go back and fill it in. So, but this is, I haven't even completed, although it's actually been, she's released the last pattern bit, I haven't even done that. I hadn't had a chance, but so this is where I'm at with that one. Sorry, the lighting's really bad today. So I need to do this bit here, these 6 here. So as you can see, what I did discuss this in my last video, but basically, if the black work pattern didn't include a metallic or a bead, then I was classing it as a plain chocolate. So then it would be stitched in the DMC that I'm using, which has sort of reoccurred. In some of them there's actually 2 together there, but I think that's kind of what happens to me in a box of chocolates. You can get some really intricately decorated ones and some more plain ones, so that's what the kind of look I was going for. So obviously where there's some gaps, then as she releases them I'll just fill them in. The outside I've done in gold petite treasure braid, because I had it in my stash. Most of this was all stash. I didn't have to buy anything for it really. This fabric was part of the Fabric of the Month club from Sparkly's. This was the January one, so I used that. I already had the gold petite treasure braid. I already had the DMC in the dark brown, the DMC in the caramelly light brown colour, and as I said, I had all the antique silks to date in the Jodyridesigns. So, and I had the Mill Hill beads, which is in a matte brown. So to date, that is actually none of this, and the pattern's free for anyone that doesn't know. It's a Liz Almond pattern. She's a very talented lady, and each segment was free. So actually, technically, this didn't cost me anything because I already had it all in my stash. So that's that one. Like I said, I'm under no pressure to get that finished or anything like that, because it may be another year before each one gets filled in. That's fine. I'm not in any rush. So the next thing would be creations. Now I have been a bit cheeky with this. I am part of the Stitch Mania Facebook group, and I really enjoy that group, and they've had 2 stitch alongs. The first stitch along was the ABC sale for August ABCs. As part of the criteria, it was stitch anything with lettering. And the second part, which is September, speciality stitches. Well, I'd wanted to stitch after I'd finished the Mirabilia. This was on my list of things to stitch. This is Creation by Tempting Tangles. And this obviously includes the words, and it's got speciality stitches in it. So I felt, because I'm being a bit sneaky, I felt that actually that would allow me, other than my Country Cottage Needleworks, this in theory could be a 2-month focus project, because it fits the ABC criteria and it's got speciality stitches in it. So I would take it off the frame, guys, but I'm possibly going to be working on it this evening because, as I said, I'm going on holiday, and I want to try and get as much done on the bigger projects that I'm not moving around with me as possible. Oh, it's heavy because I've got it on the extender frame as well. So this is where I'm at so far. So I've completed, I can't remember where I was before. I think I hadn't done all the words, so this is all the top section of all the words was completed during the ABC sale in August. So I just went along and I completed all of this top bit here. I left this bit up here, which is satin stitches, because I knew that I could do that in September, the speciality stitch September. So I did that in the September. I'm not 100% happy with them. This I have ripped out. This has probably taken me 4 days, and that wasn't 4 days going along. That was 4 days of putting it in, taking it out, putting it in, taking it out. I just don't know why. I just don't get it. I do get it. That's why I don't know why I can't get it to work. It just frustrated me. I don't know. It could be a number of things. It could be that to make this more comfortable for me to work on this frame so that I can roll it down, I added a piece of fabric to it. This is 36, I believe, 36 or 35 count linen, and I don't know whether that's slightly distorted the fabric, so that's made it harder to see the holes, or to get the holes even. It could be that is because this is linen, and obviously it does have little and I mean, I've worked on linen before, so it's not a problem, but obviously because it does have the little slubs in it, that may have thrown me off on occasion, or maybe it's just me. I'm not totally ruling that out either. So but I've got them remotely similar to how they should be, and I've just left it for the minute, and I'm just going to continue on with it. And if it means that at the very end I go back and I rip it out just to redo it, then that's fine. But if I keep doing it, I'm going to end up just turning the piece into a UFO, because it's driving me absolutely crazy. So, but still, there's still some speciality. There's quite a few speciality stitches in the whole pattern. But I mean, as I'm working along, this is really heavy, guys. These are classed as medallions here. It's because it's so long, I can't. Yeah, just underneath where it says "and the earth" are medallions, and they've got some back stitch and some small ray stitches that are pulling from the corners of the green medallion. I should have taken it off the frame. It's just being lazy, isn't it? But so I'm going to finish the medallions, which will come to the end of the earth segment. And then, as you can see here, this is all confetti, but it's for the storm clouds. I'm going to put this down so you can see the pattern a bit better. Wrong way. Yeah. So, just here is all storm clouds. Now, this is split into 9 sections, so there's 3 across. So I'm on, as you can see, I'm in section 2 here, coming across on my pattern that I've completed, and this is section 3. This looks like a heaven and earth design. It is almost completely full coverage, just cross stitches, but almost completely full coverage. So obviously I want to make sure that I'm trying to start again. I want to make sure that I complete as much of the sort of the small medallions first, and then go back and do what will be almost completely full coverage on that page there for the storm. I mean, I absolutely love the colours. The colours are so much more vibrant than in the picture, which is what often happens, isn't it? As we know. Let's just show you there for the storm. But yes, it's been a challenge, this one. I'm enjoying it. It's not a challenge enough that I think I'm not going to work on that. I just can't bear it. The satin stitches were starting to do that to me at the top. I think for me, what really made it difficult was that there's a top row of triangles, which are satin stitches, a middle band of diamonds that fit it within the triangles that are satin stitches, and then another set of triangles that block them all in, facing upwards, that are all satin stitches. And whenever I was doing each section at a time, it was almost like it was pulling the diamond out of shape of the middle stitch. It looks roughly like a diamond at the moment, so I'll go back and revisit if I have to at some point. But yeah, I mean, I am enjoying it, and it's lovely, and I love that sampler. It's like a different style of sampler. It's obviously a sampler pattern, but I love the colours and the swirliness and that bright sun underneath. It's awesome. So yeah, I do still love the pattern. I love the pattern too much, I think, to totally give up on it. But like I said, especially during August as well, and potentially this month, when life's so busy, when you're using things to relax, you don't want it to be totally stressful just to stitch on a project. So, but that is my focus piece for September, my large focus piece for September. I have no problem with that. I'm still happy with that. I'm just going to move along, get it done, see how much I can get done, because come October, that will be going away until at least January. As with all my other pieces, will be going away till January, because obviously I had set plans for November, December, and then a sneaky one sneaked in for October, which I will discuss with you now. So Stitch Mania, so ABC sale, which was in August. Creation was the one that I picked. Speciality Stitch September, Creation was the one that I went with because it fitted both. And like I said, I knew that I would be putting it away till January, so I haven't got any problem with working on a project for 2 months, because I don't actually have loads and loads of whips. I try not to do that because I could so easily be a serial starter that I really try and justify and limit the amount that I will intake at any given time. And I've got a few on the go that I'm happy with, because the thing is, it's not that I'm being mean to myself, but then I'll get overwhelmed with the amount of whips I have. So I know my limitations, and that's it. But October come, and it was the Raven Queen sale, and although she's really beautiful, there are other mirrors that I would prefer to stitch, and you can with Stitch Mania. It was like, oh, it's Raven Queen, you could with that theme you can either stitch another Mirabilia and join us. You don't have to stitch the Raven Queen, or you can stitch something Halloweeny or something. So I went with the Halloween theme because there was something that I've had in my plans since the beginning of the year, and I thought, opportunity to join a stitch along and go with that. So for those of you that probably already know, it is Glendon Place. Excuse all the noise and the rustling. It's Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow. I've actually had this kitted up for about 4 or 5 months now, except the fabric. So it's Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow, quite a well-known pattern, absolutely adore it. But I knew I'd be changing the fabric on it. The fabric it calls for is 28 count Haunted Cashel linen, hand dyed by Picture This Plus. I love what they've chosen as a colour, but for my own reasons I wanted to choose, I'm quite lucky in the UK that there's at least 3 hand dyed fabric specialists that are absolutely awesome. There's going to be a noise in a minute, it'll be my letterbox, and it's not exciting. Yeah, it's just a leaflet. So I knew I'd be picking something similar, but another one from a British fabric company. I'm really trying today, guys. I just don't know what's the matter with my brain. It's not processing to my mouth in time. So yeah. Anyway, the only thing I did change on this is that it did say Karen Water Lilies, which is for the moon, which is like a lovely, it's a lemon and lime, so you can imagine the lovely yellows and greens and muted. I'm going to try Glow in the Dark DMC instead. I've heard horror stories that apparently it's not that easy to work with, but you don't know till you try, so I'm going to give that a go first. But yeah, other than that, planning on stitching exactly as, although their chosen, Glendon Place's chosen thread is Anchor first and then DMC second, although it has got the conversion for Anchor DMC Sullivan's as well, so they do give you lots of options. Obviously I'm going with DMC except the black. I'm using Anchor Black because I always use Anchor Black when I can. But I'll go with DMC because obviously any stash that I've bought, it will just help enhance my DMC collection, as opposed to buying loads of Anchor and having 2 lots of collections. I'm not too worried. I'd rather, a lot of the patterns that I pick are usually charted in DMC, if they are, so then I tend to go to DMC. So the fabric to go with this, I got it. I ordered it. It is from Sparkly's, which is the lady that I get my fabric of the month from anyway. And this is called Winter Skies. I have ordered it on 28 count Cashel linen, and I have ordered it on an opalescent. It's beautiful. I should put it aside as well. That's lovely. I was so pleased when it came in, and I was so excited to start it. So my plan is, this will be my start for the Stitch Mania October Raven Queen sale. This will be my Halloween themed piece, and this will be my focus piece for the month, other than my Country Cottage Needleworks, which I will get done just to keep up with them, because they're like a little on the go project, like I said, so I'll just fit that in. But yeah, so after the end of September, the creation one will actually be going away technically till January, because, as I said at the beginning of the year of my plans, the November and December is very busy for me. I work in retail, so it's a busy month anyway. Also, most of my family's birthdays are in November and December, so lots of family gets-togethers because of Christmas, birthdays, work's busier, so I get a lot less time to stitch. And last year in December I wanted to focus on a Christmassy piece just because it was December, and really didn't get that much time on it. So when in January I said to myself, I'm going to put that away rather than finish it. I'm going to put it away and bring it out in November, December. Give me a little bit of extra time. If it's not finished at the end of December, then it will go back till November, December next year, the following year. But this would be the piece that I'll be working on. For those of you that maybe haven't seen the video before, my previous, I will show you again. This is a primitive Hare pattern, and it's the Christmas Carol sampler. So that's what it looks like. It does use a lot of specialty threads. Within the pattern as well. I didn't choose the fabric it recommended. It recommended, let me see, 30 count Old Salem linen by the Primitive Hare, which is beautiful. But I was impatient to start it. So I've actually got a 30 count. This is a week's dye works, and it's Baby's Breath. But this is where I'm at on the pattern. So like I said, for the whole of December, not an awful lot, which is why I've decided for this to be the focus piece for November, December this year. It's a Christmas piece. If I get it finished, lovely. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. It'll be put up till November, December next year, and I'll probably try and do that, unless it's a Christmas present, then it will need to be done before, but I'll probably try and do that possibly with any stitching that comes up in the future, so that I'm working on something Christmassy around Christmas time each year without the pressure of it being a deadline, because it's going to be a gift. I've got, as part of a stash acquisition, I got the Just Nan stocking, and with the angels in it, and you can switch the angels out. And I'd like to make that as a Christmas present, possibly, for my niece next year. But then if I'm going to do that, I will probably start that mid-year, because I'd want it to be ready, and it's got to be turned into a stocking, so I'd want it to be ready well before Christmas next year. I wouldn't stitch something that I want as a Christmas present unless it was tiny, ready for Christmas, because that would be way too much pressure, and I have way too much going on. So guys, that is an awfully rushed but really quick update, because I have actually got an appointment in about half an hour. But it was really great to see you all. Thank you to all my new subscribers. You're really cool, as per usual. And I'll catch up with you all soon. Bye.